Foundations. I got an interesting question based on the video we did last week, and they said, what are you talking about when you mean foundations, right? That's a really good question, because obviously there's foundations for your business, but then there's the foundations for you, right? They both are really important. So if you want to build success this year, you have to build the foundations for success. And that starts with you, right? So obviously whatever I'm going to say now can complement both business and yourself, because there's a number of key elements I do, and I'm currently working this exercise with myself at the moment, because obviously I take a lot from what I did last year, but I want to build on it. I want to get rid of some old and build in some new. What do I want to keep and develop? What do I want to stop to allow for some new stuff, right? So I want to build the foundations for my success, and I break it down to a number of key elements. First of all, it's about building your mission and your vision, right? Now I do a lot of this work and I talk a lot about that, and I will be talking a lot about building missions and visions in the near future, because that's really, really important. You need your moonshot, you need that direction, you need your North Star, and you need to know where you're going, number one, right? So figure out what that is, both on a business level if you're a leader, but also very much in terms of you. Where do you want to be in 12 months' time? What do you want to develop? Who do you want to become in 12 months' time? That's really, really important. I always believe it's important to learn. Do something different, learn something new, and remember what it was like as a kid to get on that bike for the first time and build. Fall off a few times, and what you see behind me there is about any time you fall down, keep moving forward, because that's how winning is done, okay? So build your mission and your vision and start thinking about your strategy, right? And then just below that, what are your principles? What are you gonna stick to? What are you gonna improve upon? Your principles, because that's really important. And again, this applies to both yourself and your business. If you're a leader, what are the principles? What is your mission statement? What are you going to continue doing? Who are you going to become? What are your values, right? Achieve. One of my values is achieve without destruction, right? And this came true when I worked with previous clients. Like, they talk about customer first, which is really good, right? But it's a customer first at the expense of your employees, because if you have a metric for something, that could lead to certain activities that may have a destructive property somewhere else, right? So make sure it's do something and not at the expense of, right? It has to complement. So make sure there's no destructive elements to what you do, okay? Another big one is bring people along with you. What kind of leader do you want to be? And even if you're not in a position of leadership, how can you bring people with you? How can you lead by example without being in a position of authority? That's really important. If you want to be a leader, if that's part of your plan, you need to become a leader, right? You need to be a leader before you've got a position of leadership. People need to see this in you. So it's really important to build these things. Now, what are the things you're prepared to sacrifice? So I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I can stop going out 3 times a week or whatever, so I can do more training in the gym, right? What are the things you're prepared to sacrifice that will serve you to improve going through? But also, on the other side, what are the things you're not prepared to sacrifice? That is really important. And that leads me into non-negotiables, okay? This is another element you need to look at. What are your non-negotiables? And again, what are your business non-negotiables? I talk about non-negotiables in sales all the time to make sure this is what you're prepared to compromise for clients. This is what you're not prepared to do. What are your non-negotiables? For me, for example, these are things I work really hard on. I have morning routines and evening routines. Morning routines to help me wake up and make sure I'm in my best mood, my best self to take on a strong day. Even if a strong day doesn't happen, I'm ready to do it. Then the evening time, how can I make sure I relax properly, go to sleep, have a good night's sleep, so I can wake up and do it all again? Those are my non-negotiables, my routines. And I have different activities I do at each morning and evening to ensure I'm doing the best I can so I can be energized all the way through. And this leads me on to one of my other non-negotiables, is energy management. I want to make sure that I can sustain the gains. I push myself, I stretch my limits all the time. Last year, very, very busy year with work and then training for 3 marathons. How could I sustain the gains? How can I keep moving without compromising my health? Because that's another one. My non-negotiables is my health. So these are all the things you need to consider, right? And that's all the happy path. But then what about, we call it the Murphy's Law effect. What can go wrong? How can you manage the risk? How can you brainstorm? What are the things that can happen? And then how can you do some risk mitigation? What are the things you can prepare for? And then you can do scenario mitigation too. Well, what are the most likely things that are going to happen? And how are you going to prepare a scenario so when if they do happen, you're ready to go. You're not caught off guard, because expect the unexpected. We've been looking at the last 3 years probably with what the hell has happened, because things have changed in the world quite a lot. And completely unexpected. So expect the unexpected, right? And then when you've done all that, start building your plans. Building your plans for your routines, for example, morning and evening, what works, what helps you serve best. Managing your energy, building a little guideline and checklist to ensure you don't get out of control. And where your limits are, know your limits. I like to stretch mine, always, because that's what life is about. Sometimes I go too far and I have to go, okay, that's fair enough. Let's step back a bit. But build those plans. And it's not about getting it right. The whole point of getting a plan started is to put something on paper. And then you work through over time to get it right, to close the gap between what you're doing, the results, what you need to do differently to get better results. It's all about getting started. Don't wait for perfection. It's another way of procrastination. Just get started. The quicker you get started on something, the better things will be. So that's what I talk about, building foundations, okay? This is just my thoughts on foundations. This works really well for me and my clients, and I believe it can work very well for you. If you have any questions on this, please get in touch. I would love to help. And in the meantime, this is Shailene saying, have a great day.